Vampire Diaries Season 8 premiere, Hello Brother. Now, this is the final season for the Vampire Diaries, so I decided, of course, that I would review every episode. Unlike, last season I just did like the premiere and the mid-season and the finale. I'm going to do every episode. It's the last time we're going to see all these characters together, at least. I'm sure they'll have 100 million crossovers, with the originals once that comes back. But this is the final season, and it's pretty interesting. It was a pretty good start. Personally, I'm excited for this villain because, maybe it's because sirens are never anything that, deadly. It's like, oh, sirens are this thing where it's like, they sing and, that makes people crash ships and they die. And that's kind of, as far as it's always been, it's like, that's not that big of a deal. And sometimes, with lore, there are always multiple stories. And so there are the darker stories where it's like, well, they crash, and then the sirens eat the bodies and stuff like that. And it seems like, based on what we got in this episode, that's the route they're going, with the super dark version of a siren. And she actually sings at the end when she, kind of gets into her human form. And I was like, I'm happy about this. I think that's a cool villain because I would assume everyone knows what a siren is. They of course explain it and they go through it, which they did in a cool way using the book and stuff. But I was like, alright, everyone is kind of, typically, I would think anyone watching this show is probably familiar, with sirens and what they do. And like I said, it's always just like, oh, they sing and they make people crash ships, and it's like you have to fight against the siren song, stuff like that. But this is like, no, we gotta, this siren can read people's minds. This siren not only reads people's minds, but it controls people, because we have, of course, Enzo and Damon completely under control. They can still fight back just a little bit, which I thought was cool. I like the way they kind of played with that dynamic, because we have Enzo who's, telling the team like, hey, he's leaving these hints for Bonnie, like this is guitar and this, guitar wire or guitar string. And, he does the earwax, and he does it where the girl that they kill is like posed on the front of the car like someone on the front of a ship. I was like, okay, that's pretty cool. And he's the one who's trying to fight back, and he's like, they even have a line where he's talking with Damon. He's like, how much control do you really have? Because I'm down to like 2%. And Damon's like, don't need control. I just flip my switch off, so I don't care to fight back anymore. I just do as I'm told, because all this time that we've been doing this, we both know that we couldn't break free. So I kind of just cut my, I flipped off my humanity switch, and I kind of just let it go. And I don't know if that's technically true or not, because we get the end of this episode where what he does is he kind of regresses to memories of first meeting Elena, and I thought that was interesting. So I don't know if that means he was lying that whole time, or if he could actually do that, but I would assume that he, I'm assuming you could still do both. You could still have, no humanity, so that way he doesn't feel anything when he's told to kill a bunch of people. He doesn't really feel like he needs to kill, but he still wants to not be 100% under control, because I think if there's any one little thing, it's probably going to be him not wanting to kill Enzo, because Enzo's the one still really fighting back and leaving all these clues. And he does kind of help him. He's like, if there's anything going on, it can get in your head. Like, if there's something that you're thinking about, it will find that out really fast, which is why you should probably turn off your humanity switch. And it makes it pretty simple. There's nothing for you to think or care about. It won't know that you think or care about anything. So he was kind of helping him there, because he knows something. He knew something was going on, because like, we were covering our tracks fairly well for such a long time, and suddenly, poof, they just happened to show up, and we have to deal with this stuff. So I thought that was really interesting. I was like, okay, he's got his humanity switch off, but he's still Damon. He's still, some good part of him is still in there, where it's like, I don't care about, being mind controlled anymore and killing off all these random people, but I still have my thought process on the people I care about and, my buddy Enzo. So it's like, hey, I kind of don't want to be told to kill you and then not care that I'm being controlled to kill you, because that would really freaking suck. So they're each doing it in their own way. Who knows how that's going to play out ultimately. But I thought it was really well done. Caroline has some interesting stuff. Caroline and Alaric, actually, in this episode, where it was funny to me when Alaric came in and he's like, I'm just so far away, and he's like, I think I should move in here, and Caroline was like, I don't think we should live together. He was like, I didn't say you should stay. I was like, dang. I just thought that was so funny when he said that. I was like, I did not think he was about to say that. Like, oh, I didn't say you should stay here with me. I was just like, wow. I can't believe he even remotely thought to throw that idea out there. But they go through this crazy thing where Caroline has to kill. I can't even think of the girl's last name, but she has to kill her. She's basically the next person in line. She was like actually the heiress to that whole family, and she kills her, which really, really surprised me because I'm like, oh, she's dead now. So there's like, I was kind of confused. I was like, I didn't think that they would kill her because she was such an important character, but I guess I was wrong. I thought, she's the one who has all these answers and stuff, and they kind of. I guess her last little thing is that she will give us the answer, but we have to kind of wait and see what's going to happen with this really messed up tape where it kind of just screeches. So someone's going to have to work on the video and then get that out of there. And then we'll get our answer probably like halfway through the season or something like that. Unless it's in the next episode. I haven't been able to check out episode 2 yet. But I don't know. I was very surprised when she came into the house. I guess she was just mad that they opened up the door. I mean, I guess that's all I could think of. And maybe she just knew where Caroline was first. It's like, okay, there are a bunch of people, at the, I guess it's like a castle, pretty much. It's kind of like a castle, or just a mansion. So, there's like, there are a bunch of people there, so I won't deal with that. I'll just go to Caroline's place, and I'll, kill the babysitter, and I'll, try to find and kill her kids. So, when she got killed off, I was like, huh, I wasn't expecting that. Like, Caroline just ended her, and that was pretty much all there was to it. So now she has her answers, kind of left in this video, and we'll have to wait and see what the answers are. But I am excited for this season. I think I'm really curious how the level of emotion is going to play for the characters. It's the final season, so there's a lot of stuff going on. We have 2 of our characters, both of which have very serious connections to characters that aren't controlled. So of course we have Bonnie, who's just being destroyed right now because she doesn't have Enzo, and she lost basically her best friend as well. So Bonnie's really going through, as she always is. Bonnie's always going through like the hardest stuff ever, emotionally at least. And so she's got Enzo, who she doesn't have, and then Damon, where after them spending all that time in that alternate reality, they have been best friends. Even though I'm pretty sure it was the last season, they had their huge issue, but ultimately it's like, no, it's still the 2 of them together. But it's just crazy. She's dealing with that. Of course, Stefan has to deal with the fact that he doesn't have his brother, and he was really hurt by what Damon said to him. And he's like, he said it before that it was my fault that he lost his life, but for some reason it just felt really bad, when he heard it in this episode. So there's a lot of the emotional elements going around for this first episode, and I'm excited to see where they take it. That's kind of the crux of the series, is the characters' connections to each other. And Damon's thing seems to be his connection to Elena, and that being the one thing that he really has, even without his humanity switch on. That's like the one thing that he has to help him kind of get through being controlled by this siren. So I'm excited to see where they take this season. I thought it was a fun first episode. We got to see where most of our characters were. We didn't see Matt, although I thought we did. That guy that they killed in the beginning with his girlfriend, I thought that was Matt at the beginning. I was like, that dude looks just like Matt to me. Like, when it was dark, at least, when I actually saw him, I was like, oh, that's not, it doesn't really look like him, but he kind of has the same facial structure as the actor. And I just thought it was him with like a slightly different hairstyle, because it was so dark. I didn't see how much of a difference it was at first. But I was like, I thought it was a flashback, because I really don't remember what the woman looked like. I just assumed, I was like, this is either a flashback or this is like a brand new woman that Matt is with. And that's kind of what I thought. I was like, well, that doesn't look like the woman from the last season, so I don't think this is another random flashback. Plus, it was like, pretty sure that was the first episode, or the first scene of the episode. So I was like, alright, well, there's something going on with Matt. And then it's like, oh, that's not Matt at all. This is a totally different random guy. Matt wouldn't have died anyway, somehow. But I like this first episode. We'll have to see where the season goes. I believe they are going to do, especially with it being the final season, I'm sure they're going to do a crossover with the originals again. But even that is, I think, still technically 2 years in the future from where the Vampire Diaries is right now. So I'm not sure how those crossovers are actually going to work. But I like this episode. I thought it was a great premiere. Of course, definitely want to know what you guys thought about it. So please comment below. Let me know your favorite parts, least favorite parts, and of course, final season, maybe 23, 24 episodes, something like that. I want to know what you guys want to see from this final season, whether it's characters. I'm sure we'll see literally every character, at least all the living characters. They might not show off like, I don't know if they'll do like a, excuse me, a clip show type episode where they just show all the characters and stuff. They might find a way to do it. They worked their way back around to actually having diaries in the show, which they started up again last season. So I was like, wow, they actually worked their way around after ditching that in like season 2. So they've come full circle with the diary part of it. We got a ton of characters still out there alive. We got a lot of characters who, of course are gone, that are constantly talked about. So I'm sure we'll see a lot of them. But I would love to know what characters you want to see come back. What you just want to see in general. If there's a character, because with it being the final season, I'm kind of curious. I don't know how perfect things are going to be. I don't know if we're going to get, I kind of feel like this is how the series is going to end, but I think we're going to get a time skip at the end of this series, and it's going to be after everybody's dead, and, specifically Bonnie, since she's tied to Elena. After she dies, Elena will finally wake up, and that's when Damon and Elena will be together again. I feel like that's how they'll end the series, and it'll be, Damon, Elena, Stefan, and Caroline, and it'll be the 4 of them together, and I don't know, it'll be interesting. Them, and then they'll have, of course, the kids that they'll be looking after. So it'll be interesting. I don't know if that's really how they'll end it. Maybe something will happen where they somehow use the siren and they, sever the bond. I don't know how it's going to end. Who knows? But I want to know your speculations for how this season is going to play out. Like I said, I want to know what characters you guys want to see. What characters you guys don't want to see come back in any way, shape, or form. All that stuff I want to know. So please comment below. Let me know. And thanks for watching.